The draft is often the highlight of the offseason for NBA fans, and this year's draft lived up to the hype. Teams made trades, players rose and fell a lot further than some may have thought, and plenty of excitement ensued as a result. Because of this, there were a few players that fell further than I believed they should have, giving the team that drafted them tremendous value. That brings us to the topic of today's video, in which I will be talking about 5 players that are absolute steals based on their talent and where they were selected. Before I get into things though, make sure you subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now, with that being said, let's get right into it. The first and most obvious draft steal from the night was Michael Porter Jr., who got drafted to the Denver Nuggets with the 14th pick. Just a few days ago, the Sacramento Kings were reportedly tempted to take him with the 2nd pick in the draft, then flash forward to the actual draft, and Porter almost slipped completely out of the lottery. After being number 2 in the recruiting class coming out of high school, he was seen as someone with the talent to legitimately compete for the number 1 pick. This all changed though when his back issues flared up and forced him to sit out all but 3 games of his freshman year. In those 3 games he played in, he didn't exactly look great. The offense became stagnant with him on the court, he took bad shots, and overall he just didn't look like himself. His pre-draft process didn't exactly do him any favors either. He only released his medical records to a few teams, had a very private pre-draft workout, and there were now rumors that he might have to redshirt his entire first year in the league. Despite all of that though, there is reason to be hopeful as a Nuggets fan. When healthy, he's one of, if not the best wing scorer in the draft, and one of the team's biggest needs was a wing player. Sitting out a year has proven to actually help quite a bit for young players, as both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid did just that, and are now great players for the Sixers. Patience will be needed, but getting Porter Jr. with the 14th pick is incredible value even if he never becomes the star that many thought he had a chance to become. Up next on this list of draft steals is Robert Williams, who was drafted 27th overall by the Boston Celtics. Things seem to always go right for the Celtics, and Danny Ainge's luck is honestly starting to get annoying at this point. Robert Williams had late lottery talent, yet he slipped all the way to the end of the first round right into the Celtics' arms. The Celtics' biggest need was a big man, as Aaron Baines is a free agent and Al Horford plays best alongside another big, so of course someone as good as Williams fell right to them. Williams is 6'10" with a 7'5" wingspan, and to add to it, he's a tremendous athlete. He feasts on rebounds and finishes at a very high level at the rim because of his power and length, having shot 73.3% at the rim for proof. He also gets out in transition at a high level, which should work very well alongside Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, and Jaylen Brown, who all love to run in transition. Williams was in the 94th percentile in college in transition offense, which is crazy good. Williams has been compared to Clint Capella as a player, and while he may never become quite that good, his upside is still very high. The third draft steal of the night came with the 38th pick in the draft when the Pistons traded with the Sixers and took Kyrie Thomas. Thomas is the 2-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year because of his ability to pester guards and wings all game long and make life hell for them. He's only 6'4" as a shooting guard, but he has a 6'10" wingspan that he uses to create havoc on defense and make up for his slightly undersized height. Offensively, he's the type of player that should fit perfectly onto any team. He's incredibly efficient scoring the ball, having shot 53.8% from the field and 41.1% from 3. In all 3 of his college seasons, he shot above 39% from 3, so his jumper is no fluke, making him a valuable 3-and-D guard. Thomas has drawn comparisons to Avery Bradley and Gary Harris because of his skill set, and honestly I'm surprised he fell out of the first round. Players like those are more valuable than ever in today's NBA, and I have no doubt that he will make the Pistons roster and have an immediate impact. Next up is Keita Bates-Diop, who got taken 48th overall in the second round by the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was the Big Ten Player of the Year after scoring nearly 20 points per game and grabbing about 7 rebounds per game, and his flexibility on the offensive end is what's most impressive about him. He has the size to play power forward and the skill to play small forward, which is perfect for positionless basketball in the NBA. Another positive about his game, especially based on his new home on the Timberwolves, is that he moves very well off the ball and ranked in the 88th percentile as a cutter at Ohio State. He's 6 foot 9 inches tall with a 7 foot 3 wingspan, so he has the tools to become a plus defender over time as well. A lot of the mock drafts I looked at before the draft labeled him as a late first round pick, so being able to pick him near the end of the second round is why I believe he was one of the biggest steals in the draft this year. The last player that I believe was a steal for the team that drafted him this year is Shake Milton, who was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers 54th overall. As has been a recurring theme in this video, Milton has first round talent and he played well enough during the college basketball season to get that recognition. He played 3 seasons at SMU, and during every one of those seasons, he shot at least 42% from 3. He's an absolute knockdown shooter on the wing who thrives in spot-up situations. So much about today's NBA is about finding spot-up shooters, and in that regard, Milton is better than most. He's 6 foot 6 with a 7 foot wingspan, giving him good size and length for a wing player, and despite his lack of athleticism, he does project as a good defender in the pros. The reason that he likely fell so far in the draft after being heralded as a likely first round pick early on is because he tested poorly at the combine, and during the combine scrimmages, he had a very off day. He missed all of his shots and struggled with turnovers, but I'm not going to discredit his entire body of work because of one bad outing. The Sixers will likely only be asking him to give them short stints on the second unit as a spot-up wing, which is something that he has thrived at his entire career, and with Ben Simmons feeding him the ball, he should get a ton of open looks. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. New videos come weekly, so stay tuned for that, and with that being said, I'll see you guys next video.